Hi, guys. My name is Matt. Welcome to the Sin Bin. And if you're watching this and you've seen the title, you've seen that the Columbus Blue Jackets have just won Game 4 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is a huge shock, not only to me, not only to you guys, but the hockey world in general. Why is it? Why is it such a shock? Because Columbus was the last seeded team to enter the playoff, whereas Tampa was the President's Trophy winner, having the most points in the NHL and being one of the large favorites to win the Stanley Cup. And now I'm looking at it, and the Tampa Bay Lightning just got completely swept. Not one, they didn't win one game, they didn't win two games, they got completely swept. What does this mean going forward for each team? Stay tuned to find out. But first of all, I like to go over a little bit of the box score. So Columbus Blue Jackets scored 7 goals. Tampa Bay Lightning scored 3 goals. And a common theme that I've seen throughout this series is that the big guns for Tampa Bay needed to stand up. Stamkos was virtually invisible the whole series until this game where he finally scored a goal. He got an assist, 2 points, not bad. Kucherov, who's been pretty much invisible himself, also got 2 assists, 2 points, 4 shots on goal. I think that the big guns of Tampa Bay did a good job in this game. The only problem is it was a little too late, and Braden Point also scored. Columbus Blue Jackets, though, played well as a whole, and I think that they had a style of play that was more conducive to winning than Tampa Bay's style of play. We all know that regular season is very different from the playoffs. Different style of hockey. Perhaps, and I'm just throwing it out there, the Tampa Bay Lightning have more so of a finesse style of play that may work more so in the regular season. But once that translates to the playoffs where things get much physical, maybe they're not as good. I'm just putting it out there. And the thing about hockey, which I love about hockey so much, is that the parity is incredible. Anyone could win on any given day. It's not like in football where the Patriots are winning every single year. No. In hockey, the parity is good. And any team could win at any single day. And last year, Tampa Bay made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. And many people thought they're going a step further. They're getting more mature. The players are learning. They're going to probably, maybe, win a Stanley Cup, if not make it to the Stanley Cup final. But then they met the Columbus Blue Jackets. And if you're a Columbus Blue Jackets fan, you could not be happier right now. You just heard that goddamn cannon go off 7 times, and your team didn't lose once. It was a sweep. Bring out the brooms. It was a full sweep. Okay? The storm is over. The Lightning can go home. The storm is done. Now the Blue Jackets are out to play. So as I alluded to, Tampa Bay has always been, or in recent memory, a really good regular season team. It kind of reminded me of Washington back in the days. So for those of you who are young, still didn't have hair on your face, Washington back in the day were a powerhouse in the regular season. However, they couldn't win the Stanley Cup until last year, obviously. They couldn't win a Stanley Cup. And everyone always criticized Ovechkin. I remember a famous reporter in Russia openly criticized him, said he was spoon-fed, he was this and that, they're never going to win. And they said it's basically not a playoff team. And the same thing is happening now to the Tampa Bay Lightning, sort of, kind of. Now, there's a few differences. I just think this year nothing clicked for them. As I alluded to before, Stamkos was, oh my God, had you asked me in the beginning of the year, who's the most overrated player in the NHL? I would have probably said Stamkos, just personal opinion, because of his inability to show up when it matters. Now, granted, he did score a goal and got an assist in this last game, but a little bit too late. Tampa Bay suffered a little bit with injuries. Let's not hide it. Their top defenseman, Victor Hedman, was injured for, I guess, a concussion. I'm not sure if they made it known to the public, but I'm assuming it's a concussion. So whether or not that made the difference, I'm pretty sure it didn't. because Victor Hedman was playing some of his worst hockey in those first two games. And maybe that's got something to do because 77 on the other side, Josh Anderson, was just riding his ass. That sounded weird and sexual, but was just on him every shift, being rough with him, hitting him, giving him no space. But Victor Hedman, for me, was a non-factor. I think that if you say that if Victor Hedman was in the lineup, they would have won, I think that's a conversation non-starter. So don't go there. Now, Washington, if you remember well, in 2010, were the first seeded team. And the last seeded team in that playoffs was the Montreal Canadiens. And what the Canadiens did is that they shocked the world. Jaro Halak back in the day played his ass off, and they beat the Washington Capitals. And I would say that this Columbus Blue Jackets win, this Columbus Blue Jackets sweep, is eerily similar to back in 2010 what happened to Washington Capitals. I will say the only difference is that this is a sweep. It's not a game 5, game 6. This is a sweep. The big boys showed out to play. And if you're Columbus Blue Jackets, this is fun. This is dandy. Everything came true. But let me just bring you guys back to earth a little bit. You guys need to win the Stanley Cup. Why do I say that? Panarin's a free agent. He's probably not going to sign with your team. I'm sorry to say that, but he made it known that he wants to go to a big market, a big city, such as, I don't know, like New York or Florida or, something like Tampa. Florida's not a big team. I don't know why I said that. But he wants to go to a big city where he gets the big lights like a Toronto or something like that. I'm not saying Toronto can pick him up. That's not what I'm saying. But they're going to lose Panarin. They're probably also going to lose Bobrovsky, who's also a free agent, and he's had his up and downs throughout the season, more so downs than up, but they're probably going to lose him. They are basically in a situation where they have to win because they're going to lose a lot of their players at the end of the season. And also throw in the fact that they traded a lot to get Matt Duchene, players like Duchene, like Dzingel. So they are in must-win mode. They cannot stop now just because they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I personally say Panarin's not going to sign, but looking at the games, that guy's having fun. He's winning. Who knows? Maybe not if you win a Stanley Cup, but maybe if you make a reasonable, long enough run, he might change his mind and say, listen, the team is going in the right direction. We got the right young players, the Dubois, the Bjorkstrands, the Jones. I might want to stay with this team. That's probably not likely, but still. So the Columbus Blue Jackets have to continue like this going forward. And I think that another comparison for this team would be the LA Kings. In, I believe, 2012, when they won, they were the 8th seed team. And no one saw it coming, but they went all the way from 8th seed, all the way to the top, and they won the Stanley Cup. So eerily similar. I will say that what I've learned over the years is that the seeding in which you finish after the season bears nothing on your chances to win the Stanley Cup. Because as we just saw it, the President's Trophies team just got knocked off. And I don't get mad if I'm wrong, but I think that may be the first time that the President's Trophy team gets swept in the first round. So I'm just shocked here. I'm all over the place, I know. I just wanted to make a quick video to, get this out of the way, let you guys know my opinion. So please drop a like. Write if you have any comments, any concerns, any comments about anything. I wore a shirt and tie to be fancy. I hope you guys liked it. And yeah, so please subscribe. My name is Matt for the Sin Bin. Signing.